Okay, we got everybody here. Thank you for coming. Happy St. Patrick's Day for those of you that are Irish.
Or honorary.
Or honor, yeah. So we're gonna do a quick go around the room, say who you are and what organization you're from. And I will start by calling on the folks on Zoom. So I will call on you and then you can just announce your name and what organization you work with. So we'll start with Shauna.
Good morning. I'm Shauna Blackledge, Door County Health and Human Services Division of Public Health.
Thank you. Katie.
Hi, Katie Van Lanen, Door County Public Health Nurse.
Tony.
Tony Lee, Health Navigator with Covering Wisconsin.
Jim.
Hi, Jim Conley, mental health advocate at Jeffers.
Thank you. And Molly.
Hi, Molly Gary, United Way and the Women's Fund of Door County.
All right, thank you. Oh, hang on, we got one more here.
Why don't you start around in here?
Okay. Mary Ellen, go ahead.
I'm Mary Ellen Smith. I'm a co-chair of the Door County Partnership for Children and Families with Ann Schmagel, and I'm a retired public health nurse. And of course, I have to say hi to my friends at Public Health.
I'm Corey McFarland. I'm a community member and recently retired from Health and Human Services as well, and grandma of 4 Door County children.
I'm Beth Chisholm, Deputy Director at Door County Health and Human Services.
Candace Stark, I'm a community member and a parent.
Ann Schmagel, retired from Sturgeon Bay Schools, co-chair with Mary Ellen.
My name is Sophie Seelan. I'm the Door County Coordinator and Victim Advocate for the Family Services Sexual Assault Center.
I'm Helen Bacon, retired, currently alderperson in the city of Sturgeon Bay.
Beth Locken from the Public Library.
Nikki Voigt from Dortran.
Cami Cigar, the Strive School-Based Mental Health Program at United Way.
I'm Josh Oberndorfer with the Door County YMCA, and I do the volunteer coordinating and food program.
I'm Callie Crowell, Door County Medical Center Behavioral Health.
And Teresa, we're doing introduction. So if you could just give everybody your name and your organization.
Hi, Teresa Martins, the nutritionist WIC director for the WIC program at the Public Health Department.
And I am Rebecca Nicholson. I am the community connector for the Door County Partnership for Children and Families. All right. So we'll just get right into it. I am going to start by just reading off data from last year. So this would be our 2022 year-end reports. So we'll start with Dolly Parton Imagination Library. So a number of clients served, and as you all know, Chad manages the Dolly Parton Imagination Library program. So the number of clients served in 2022 was 309. There were 700, or as of today, 728 active Dolly Parton Imagination Library recipients, and 528 have graduated since we started. So
How many kids in that age range are there in the county? Do you have an idea?
hey, Shauna, you know that answer?
I couldn't hear the question.
Oh, the question asked was, do we know how many children are in Door County based on like census data or whatever between the ages of 0 and 5?
Yes, give me a minute and I'll pull it up.
Molly? You're muted, Molly.
I believe it is about 1,100 children between the ages of 0 and 5.
I was gonna say about 200 for age.
Yep, yeah.
Okay,
Although I thought
Just
that
going
that
by
number,
school census.
I thought that that number had shrunk a little
Well, it has.
recently.
It
So,
has.
okay, so for the, okay, now hold on a second, Mr. Chad. Oh, I'm sorry. So the education side of Chad's position is 309. So that would be like any of the parenting programs or. That's what I was kind of confused. I'm like, how is that when that number is that? Okay, DPIL only is 883. So that makes more sense. So that'd be new enrollments and ones that have graduated last year. So for community connections, I served 205 clients last year. And I had 56 total families. 51 of those were new clients. So that's pretty darn good. Let's see, I've got the diapers on here. So I completed 287 diapers, wipes, and formula requests last year.
Wow.
And keep in mind that is purchasing those items, setting up a delivery time, and then delivering them to their homes. Some of them, a handful, have come to the office and picked up the items.
Rebecca, did you do all that yourself, or were you successful in getting any volunteers to help you?
Not myself. Part of that is as much as volunteers would maybe help in that situation, there are a couple barriers that I'd have to work through because I actually have to make the purchase and I'm authorized to use the debit card to do that. And then if I'm going to make the purchase, then I'm already got the items in my vehicle. So it'd just be more hassle to have somebody meet me to.
Well, if you ever get really swamped and need help, let me know.
Okay, I will.
There's two. Yeah. Like,
Oh, all right, hang on. Slide over here. I have started though ordering the items online for curbside pickup. So that maybe could be an option where then a volunteer would pick up the items. So I will definitely look into that. Oh, Shauna.
okay.
Okay. So, yep.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Diapers though, they need them like right away when they request them, so you have to have somebody that's willing to do it like that.
That's true. Good point.
Yeah.
So Cammie has helped me a handful of times, especially with the Carlsville families because she lives up that way. So, yeah.
When I was promoting this to my other friends, that is it mostly Sturgeon Bay families that are requesting? I mean, are there a lot of?
No, there are
Outline.
not many. The farthest north, well, I shouldn't say, I had one person that was Sister Bay. But everybody else has been pretty much Carlsville South.
Okay.
And all the way to Forestville.
Okay. So more southern door in Sturgeon Bay.
Mhm.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think that's because the ones up north don't know what's going on. an option.
Maybe. So I'm pretty sure I had sent out an email to all our partners, which would include like the Northern Door Children's Center and the Y and everywhere, you know what I mean? So, but we could do more outreach. I don't want to do too much because I want to be able to afford it. And we are working on a fundraiser this month with a lofty goal of 20,000. I honestly don't know where that number is today. Kelly's been off or out at a conference all week, so I haven't gotten a chance to ask. I do know that so far, I do know we have just under maybe $500 for sure, so. Okay. All right, so that is our 2022 year-end report information. So then we'll move on to program updates. So I gave you the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, Raising a Thinking Child, Parent Cafe, Wall Cafes, Triple P. We have not done anything with those yet this year. Chad is in the midst right now of completing some accreditation trainings for Triple P, which is going to open up a lot, much more for him as far as what he can teach. And all of those trainings are being paid by a state initiative or something along those lines. It's not us, I know that much. So that is awesome. So he is going to, I'll just kind of quickly go through these. There is a selected stepping stones triple P, which is for families with children that have different abilities up to age 12. And that has 3 different seminars with that. Then there is family transitions. So there are 5 sessions available to train in this one. And this is for families that are going through separation and divorce, where there's unresolved conflicts or difficulty communicating effectively with the former parent. So that is going to be a really nice one. There is, let's see if he's doing this one, Select Teen. So that one is for parents or caregivers with teenagers up to 16 years of age. Some of these sessions are raising responsible teenagers. It's kind of mirroring the younger ones. So raising responsible teenagers, raising competent teenagers, and then getting teenagers connected. And then there's also a group triple P. I don't know if he's doing that one. No, he's not doing that one. And then he's also doing parent cafe training recertification with an emphasis on successful use of Zoom. He is doing 5 for families training and recertification. So those are the 5 protective factors, and 5 for families stems from the Wisconsin Board of Reducing like child abuse and neglect. And then he's also recertifying in the 7 essential ingredients of trauma-informed care. And he is picking up the triple P discussion groups, which I'm going to assume are similar to cafes, and group discussion triple P, which is for parents and children up to 12 years old. And there's 5 2-hour group sessions of up to 12 parents, and they participate in a range of exercises to learn about the causes of child behavioral issues, setting specific goals, and using strategies to promote child development, manage behavior, and plan for high-risk situations. So that sounds like a really good one too. So I haven't seen him, and I'm probably not going to see much of him until he's done with all this training, which runs straight through April, end of April. And then the goal is to start actually doing these things in our community then come late summer or fall. So
I've looked at the library display a few times, back about, it's recruiting foster parents.
Okay.
But there's a thing in there about triple P. And I think Children's Hospital. So must that just be some general information?
No.
I've read, what is that? What,
So
what's the connection?
they are running triple P programming over Zoom. So I have shared that out to our families in case they want to take part in that over Zoom
Okay,
until Chad can get up and running.
okay. But it's not it won't be a duplication of what we're doing.
It is,
It's
it's
not-
the same
yeah.
seminars, but
Okay,
if they don't attend that, they can attend us.
okay,
If they did attend that, they can pick other stuff that Chad is doing.
okay.
So it's not a local option. It's
No.
the Zoom from Milwaukee probably.
Sure. It's kind of what it looked like to me. There wasn't a lot of information.
Welcome Baby program. So we were heavily involved with Welcome Baby. We still are involved with Welcome Baby. However, it is now up and running both in the OB clinic and our birthing center. And Gina Fellhofer has transitioned into the role of family resource specialist. So she is now receiving the screens. I was receiving them before just to kind of get us through until Gina could get into her new role, because they need to hire someone to do home visiting for family services in her place. So that is happening. And I don't have the statistics with me, but I know we had about 25 screens and we had, I think, 11 positives. And I think only one, it didn't get connected because they ended up suffering a miscarriage, unfortunately. And then there was one that was asking just for check-ins until baby's born to decide if they actually want to do the full welcome baby steps or not. But all of them have received the packet of resource information and the brochure and know that they can reach out to Gina at any time. And for those that are prenatal, she will still do one follow-up after baby's born to make sure they're feeling confident and supported. So that has been going well. And
That's huge. I mean,
yeah,
there was a lot of work that went into that.
Yeah.
And we appreciate everybody who put their time and energy into it. It's
Mhm.
exciting that it's finally up and running.
yep.
I don't know if anyone has seen, it's just this last couple of days that it's been in the news that maternal mortality rates have risen dramatically. They're higher than they were in 1965. There were stories even in the Wall Street Journal. There've been, and that's just the last couple days, which just shows the importance of this program, especially prenatally.
Do they have some thoughts on why that is? It's contributing to that?
It didn't come up with any real specifics. Just more so, oh my gosh.
Okay.
And
We better look into this.
yeah, and the United States is not good with regard to maternal deaths in the first place. So it just shows the importance of this program.
Molly has something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Molly.
Thanks, Ann. They think that it's due to the lack of access to care during COVID, for one thing. And they also said that women of color were
Yes.
disproportionately affected.
That's right.
So the numbers have improved somewhat this year, but not sufficiently for it to not still be of great concern. We are the highest developed, our numbers are the highest of all the developed countries in the world. So it's a sad situation.
Incidentally, I was just kind of triggered me when you said we're highest within the developed countries in the world. You can tell me I'm wrong. I don't think so. But also, and we know what stress does to families and moms and everything, but we are also the highest developed country where we have the poorest relationship between wage and inflation rate. So it's just like, we all know that mental health and stress plays such a huge part of success in families. And so, it's just very frustrating because it seems like we're just always trying to claw up this hill we're never going to win.
And we have the resources for it not to have to be that way.
Right.
That's right.
It's frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's move on to a better note. So I just want to say thank you to Anne and Mary Ellen for all of their support and time and effort within the partnership. And so they have been nominated for the Golden Heart Award this year. So that's awesome.
Well, Rebecca, we appreciate you and Chad so much. You guys just do such a great job and in such a thoughtful way, and have been just such an asset to our community. So we want to thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, we certainly are honored to be nominated, but it's a result of all the work that all of you have done. And, the partnership has grown and continues to grow and make a difference in our community. So
Right.
Thank you.
And it's really for all of us.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All of us.
Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is we are going to hold another community conversation in May. So some of you have been with us for the long haul and some are newer. So
how many were at the first community conversation?
Was the first one up at the church?
At the church. Yes.
Church. No, I was at the Justice Center.
Oh, okay.
That was
the
the
second
second meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
So-
happened, for those of you that weren't there, is it started off in a small meeting in one of my schools. talking about reading, it kind of morphed into what were the needs in our community. And we just decided that we wanted to find out. And so we invited everybody to come to have a community conversation around what are the resources in our community? What are the gaps in the resources in our community? Are there overlaps in some of the resources, just to try to build a information about what the needs might be. And it was amazing. 70.
It was like 75 people
Yeah,
came.
something around
We didn't,
75 people.
we didn't do RSVPs, which was a massive mistake. So if you're planning, don't ever forget that. So just say we were thrilled.
Yeah, as a result of that, we came up with just a list of concerns. We had and then we invited anyone who was interested in continuing the conversation, and that was the meeting at the Justice. So it was really our first partnership meeting. And what we did is tried to prioritize what those needs might be, and then we tried to group them into categories, and we had some committees then that started as a result and began the work of the partnership. And we just feel like we've accomplished a lot, but it might be time to hear from everyone again. What do they see now? Are the things that we're working on the right things? Are there other things that we should maybe be talking about and thinking about? Because the group of people that meet regularly all kind of continue to talk, but it's nice to get more people involved. So the goal is to, redo that community conversation. So I know a save the date is going out.
Yes,
What's our date?
May 12th. It is a Friday. So I will send the stuff with all the minutes, but
Yep.
yeah, so this is the save the date, and this is be also on social media tonight. It's running tonight. So
Do we have a time yet? Or?
no, we do not have a time yet. Just a date.
I guess my point is, please spread the word, because we want the most diverse group of people that we can get. Because the more people we get, the more ideas that are generated and the more discussion that we can have.
We're leaning towards morning though, Corey, unless there's some issue with the church that won't work. But we'll be doing like a light breakfast and probably like 3 hours ish.
And
We'll
we're
see.
certainly open to any suggestions. In terms of people who are real new to the partnership, Beth has been our coordinator for our resource group. And now the library has their new website, and I haven't looked at it as much as even I should. And so to really revisit where we're at with everything will be terrific.
Yeah. So that's coming.
I have a question
Yes.
as far as you say morning Fridays, people that we're serving, obviously they're workers, so do we need to shift that into a later time of day so more people can participate, or is that just a bad time too? Part of me was like, oh, Saturday morning, well, who wants to do that? Who wants to get up? I don't know that there's any good time, but I just think during the work week might be a little challenging for those that we are trying to tap into.
Possibly.
I don't know. The Sturgeon Bay Schools did a resource fair last week during the evening, and I don't think, it was well attended enough, but boy, it sure could have been better.
I was gonna
And
say
it was
not because of
highly
the work
advertised.
that went into it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When you say you had 70-some people for the first one, were there parents there, or was it mostly the professionals in the community?
I think it was almost all professionals. If there were parents, it was just that they were a professional and a parent, I think.
So, and we've surveyed parents. We did a survey last year.
Last year again.
Yeah. To try to gather like what they would like to see. So we do have that data. And it's not that I don't want to include them, but it is extremely difficult for them.
So it's more agency.
Yeah, I
participation
think it's
at
kind
that
of
level.
At this point.
And
But
then we
good
can
point,
always,
though.
Yeah,
That is a
no,
good
that's
point.
fine.
Totally,
I'm glad to
yeah.
clarify that, because that makes more sense than to have it during the week.
I think one of the most powerful, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. The library has had pretty good cooperation with people showing up on Sunday afternoons.
Oh,
2 in the
okay.
afternoon on a Sunday has not been terrible for trying to get families to come out, because it's after all of their usual commitments, but it's not a Saturday when potentially there's a kid running off to an event. So speaking
That's
of
good to
running
know
off
that.
to an event, I have to go.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, to me, one of the most powerful things that came out of it was the connection between service providers in our community. Because we realized that there are so many people working so hard, but sometimes at cross purposes and sometimes overlapping. And I think that just the fact that we have these people around the table, how many years later, and that we're more connected than ever before. So I think they're both very valid, but I think the purpose of this one is to, again, try to re-engage, providers and other people who are interested in the good of the community. So,
Absolutely. Makes sense. Thank you.
Another thing that we are gonna start is Bright by Text. So Bright by Text is it's a United Way of Wisconsin program. And right now I had two moms and myself and Amy. We came up with pretend little children. And we signed up for it just to kind of see like what kind of text messages come through. So it's a texting program where you sign up for it and then you get tips and tidbits and information through text on your phone. So we tested it out. The two moms that tested it had children in different age groups, and they both reported back that they thought it was relevant, that they liked the information, and it was something that they would use. And then another component to it is we can send out or push out notifications on events or things that we're going to offer, which is really a neat component of it. We also asked them, did you feel like you got inundated? Amy and I thought it was pretty good. We got a couple a week. It wasn't anything over the top where you're like, okay, I'm tired of getting these, and you unsubscribe. So that was good. So we are working on getting that up and running. And so I'll send this with the minutes, but you just text Badger to this number on your phone and then it enrolls. You'll get a link and then it'll ask you like what age your child is. And I think zip code, I think, is in there too, if I recall correctly. And then you'll get information that's relevant to the age of your children.
In the chat.
Oh, thank you. Good Lord. Yes. Oh, Katie.
Oh,
Yes, Katie,
Oh.
thank you. Yep, she's saying she's been on since the beginning too.
she must have just started.
You're not that old, Katie.
Maybe it was with the first hideous home visit I took. She didn't quit. Hallelujah.
I'm gonna sidestep for just a minute.
She unmuted.
Oh, go ahead.
Katie,
She's gonna say something.
what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say that I had been here a few years.
Oh, you had?
I'm
Wow.
getting old.
2015, right before I started.
Okay,
I started in 13.
time flies.
Mhm.
10 years already.
Oh, happy 10 years.
In a blip.
Tony, I'm gonna ask you if you can just share briefly a little bit about how you assist families in navigating health insurance.
Sure, that's great. Thanks for having me. This is my first meeting. What Covering Wisconsin is a nonprofit, and we are a program under the UW Extension Office. And what I in particular do, Covering Wisconsin, there's navigators like myself all over the state. And my areas are Brown County, Door, Kewaunee, and Manitowoc counties. And what that entails is we help individuals navigate the health insurance world, whether it be marketplace insurance, Badger Care, and food share as well. So if let's just say that if somebody's getting removed from Badger Care, which is going to be happening in the next probably 3, 4, 5, 6 months, we sit down or talk. We help them navigate the health insurance, where that would be on healthcare.gov. And I also, advocate for clients, or we all advocate for clients to help them get insurance. So I get a lot of calls from school social workers. I have a parent who lost their insurance that, can you help them out? So any type of questions related to health insurance, it's the Medicare world, we work with the ADRCs, but if it's like Medicaid, Marketplace, healthcare.gov insurance, or just questions, I get a lot of calls for like family services. I'm working, in Brown County, Green Bay, Kewanee, Door, all agencies. So yeah, so if they have questions regarding healthcare, and especially like I mentioned, with the unwinding of Badger Care, that's going to be starting in June 1st, where they could technically be losing their Badger Care. So yeah, so there's going to be a lot of individuals losing Badger Care in the next 6 months or so. So yeah, so that is what I do, and I've met some individuals on the meeting I can see, because I'm starting to get my learn more about Door County agencies as well, because when I'm working with individuals from Door County, if they need assistance in food or shelter, I'm from Brown County. I've been doing this type of role for going on 16 years. But I'm just reaching or branching out now to Door County and the other counties as well. So it's good to meet everybody and learn about what everybody does. So if I get questions from clients, consumers, I can steer them in the right direction.
Thank you, Tony.
Tony, how do people get a hold of you?
That's a very good question. My phone number is, and I can post this in the chat as well.
I can also send it, Tony, I'll send that out with the minutes.
Oh, good.
Oh, great.
Yep.
And then if anybody wants material to hang up at their establishment or their agency, I have a lot of information. I have some postcards and business cards to give to your clients as well. So yeah, so any questions about healthcare, whatnot around that area, feel free to give me a call.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, next item, the CCOT committee, which is such a weird name, County Community on Transition. So Beth is on that, I'm on that. I don't know if anybody else is on that.
Deb Gerberg will start to go to those, our new children's services program
Oh,
manager.
okay, cool.
When is the next one? I'll make sure that it's on calendar.
I don't know. I can let you know.
Okay, or put it in the minutes.
Yeah, I'll put it in the minutes. Anyways, we are holding a resource fair on April 25th, so you'll get this flyer from me. There will be, so we had a What's After High School. We did another one of those just last week, which is giving information to parents on what is needed and what's necessary as their child transitions from children and youth services to adult services and pre or post-secondary education. And it was unfortunately not enough registrants, so they did it over Zoom instead of in person. And we got money from DCMC to do food for that. So now we're gonna have food here. So this is gonna be set up like booths of like with resources, like people will be there. But we're also doing 4 breakout sessions. So the breakout sessions include guardianship and supported decision making, the difference between that and reasons why you might want to do one over the other. Resources for transitioning at age 18, DVR, employment services and opportunities, and then college options and accommodations. So those will be 4 breakout sessions that'll be held in the activity room at the ADRC. And then all the booths will be in like the dining hall area. And then we'll have the food there where it's just kind of help yourself food and have a few tables left open for people to eat there. And that runs from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. on April 25th. So I will send that flyer out. Then Cammie and Helen can both speak to this, but there is on March 23rd, focus on youth mental health at Crossroads. So
Yeah, the league and.
You can do it.
The league, part of their substance use and mental health study, they're now trying to educate and provide resources. So the event is going to focus on youth mental health. Shauna will be there presenting the newest youth risk behavior survey data. Allie Brettel from Door County Medical will be there to talk about mental illness and disorders in youth. Kelsey Christensen and I will be there to talk about community programming and resources, so runs from 5:30 to 7:30. Crossroads.
And I will send that flyer out as well. And then any of you that had submitted anything that you wanted to share with the group on your registration form, I will also include that in the minutes.
Could I mention one thing just
Sure.
that I didn't send you? So we are going to do, I forget which group it is. Oh, mental health focus group. This would be Shauna, but we're doing a book club. And free books are available for Dr. Kenneth Duckworth, who is the psychiatrist that's affiliated with NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And he has just written a book. So it's the first book that NAMI has ever really said, promoted as their book. Shauna was able to get some free copies, which are available, I think, at the library, Jack's Place, Public Health. And there will be
What's the name of the book?
You Are Not Alone.
Yeah, we have books at United Way too.
Yeah, so there will be a couple of book discussions. And Sean and I are going to do those, one in Sister Bay, one in Sturgeon Bay. On the 13th and the 18th. Sturgeon Bay will be the 13th, I think, at 3:30 at the library, and Sister Bay will be 1:30 at their library. And then Dr. Kenneth Duckworth is going to be in Economowalk to speak to the Wisconsin NAMI Association, and he is going to come to Door County, speak for free, which will be really good. So that worked out really well. So, and from everyone that I know who has heard him speak, he is an excellent speaker. And so that will be at the 29th at Crossroads, and there'll be flyers out. Is that April? April, okay. Right at the end of April. But it's a book about navigating some of his personal story, which is real interesting. And then just information on navigating the mental health world, kind of what is mental health, what isn't mental health, and a lot of personal stories. They got a lot of quotes from people that were more than willing to share their stories, which he said he was really quite surprised by. It's a very easy read. It's and I think it's a really, really good resource to have. So please attend.
Thank you. Car seats. So car seat installation, I will send out the new rack cards from Public Health on that. So they're still doing it at the fire department, but they're also doing it through Public Health as well. So that'll be attached to the minutes. And let's see. Our executive committee meets today in a couple hours, and we're going to be looking at membership. And so if you know anybody that might be interested, we're always welcome to bring more folks to the table. I did put a note out to Amanda Caps, was LaRoche Caps. She works at Boys and Girls Club now, to see if she was interested, because I think she'd be a great asset to that. She's got really good background and knowledge and resources here. And she also has children in varying age groups. So she's checking with Chelsea at the Boys and Girls Club to make sure that they're all right with that as well. And then she'll let me know. And then Extension Door County has a new person for our area, and we're meeting with them pretty soon. So we'll see what he hasn't. Oh, okay. Well, hopefully we will.
Candace has something to
Wait,
say.
oh, you have, that's right.
Yeah, so in a few weeks, I'm going to be the new 4-H educator. So. They don't connect with you.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at it,
I'm like, is it a secret?
technically I haven't signed all the paperwork, but.
Yeah, I didn't know if you had actually accepted it or not. I heard that you had applied.
We're just waiting on the background check, which, as far as I know.
I was a little concerned about it when I talked to him last week.
All right.
No,
very
me, I
good.
would have laughed.
Yeah.
I think it's really exciting. even to think about some sort of another, I just think of 4-H, the benefit to my own kids, all the fun we had. Kids loving to take stuff to the fair. So we'll see if we can be creative.
Is Patty O'Rourke part of this from Big Brothers Big Sisters, speaking of? kids
What do you mean part of?
This group
Executive committee.
or this group? You said you were looking for more.
Well, she's a partner
Okay,
and she gets the information to attend.
so
But she
you're
has
looking
not.
for executive. committee
Yeah,
members.
executive committee. We have some members that are gonna be, their term is ending in September this year. So law enforcement at the SRO, and I think I think he can renew. We're gonna talk about it at that meeting.
next meeting?
Chad is kind of the keeper of this, but so I'm a little out of my element today, running both him and me. But yeah, we have Ann and Mary Ellen their terms are ending.
What?
Yeah.
Well, we
So-
tried to resign once and the
Cyclical
answer was
curves.
no. The thing that I've said so many times, and I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing me say this, the longer you are retired, the more removed you are from the day-to-day families.
Right.
And that, I still visit public health pretty often, and then sometimes I learn information when I'm there, and they talk to me about problems. But, I just don't feel, speaking just for myself here, it's harder, and I'd still be involved. The partnership means so much to me. But if somebody, and it's not a hard job, it's fun. I mean, I think that's the big credit to our whole group. We get along so good. And we've had fun doing every activity we've done. We've never had anybody say, well, I don't like the partnership, or I don't.
What is the
like you
partnership
guys.
doing?
Yeah, exactly. Which is such a credit to all of us. So if someone would decide.
Yeah.
and if they wanted to be a co-chair, I'd stay involved, but they wouldn't,
Yeah. And I
again,
think
because it's hard to feel up to date.
it is, and we're, with Chad doing all this training now and just being, and then there was COVID and everything. So once he gets back out there and once we start actually holding these things, then we are going to need volunteers to help with stuff like that. And then I think you'll naturally feel a little bit more in the loop on things, but
Okay.
yeah, it's not, we aren't purposely leaving anybody out.
So the
course
executive
not.
committee, because it stemmed from school and public health, I mean, are those two important pieces that need to be?
Well,
Yeah, so we
Sandy's all
have,
on it, yeah.
okay, so
Required seats.
Yeah.
And the extra seats.
Okay.
so DC Health and Human Services is a required seat. He does not have the school asterisk, but that should be, so we'll say the school, we need
school.
representative from a school, at least one.
And we have Carly Martins right now.
Yes, we do. Door County Medical Center. Boys and Girls Club was a required seat and they haven't attended since the last, maybe 2 directors ago. Extension Door County is a required seat. Law enforcement is a required seat. So that's what he is.
But
on
it's,
here. But then we also have county board or community member. So that's Helen. Door County Library. So Beth. Candace is our community member parent. Said Carly Martin's already. Corey is on it as a community member. Josh from the YMCA. And Barb Johnson Geezy is medical center. Tammy Sternert is law enforcement. And our SRO is Derek Jenner John. And Dory Goddard is our health and human services representative right now.
but, if there is ever anybody else out there, I mean, this is something we made. It's not like the state is telling.
Yeah.
you to do this.
Right.
It's not that,
Everyone's interested is more than welcome.
yes,
Right.
exactly. And, there's new people, maybe some other agency is more involved now than they were, but I mean, who knows? So, really,
It's just good to know.
yes,
You know,
yes. Thank you.
Can I say something?
Of
Like,
course.
A lot of our discussions have been about how do we get community parents to be part of the committee, and we have never really succeeded in that. There's usually some other connection with an agency or something. So that would be something, if people know of a parent in the community that would be interested, we would really love. That's
Yes.
the part that we always kind of talked about missing.
Yes.
And we did have a few parents that did participate in the beginning. I think more so in the subcommittees.
Yeah.
And we were very flexible. They could bring the kids, let the kids play. And it was helpful, but
Yeah, so the parent cafes by design are eventually supposed to be run by the parents. But we haven't been able to get enough momentum to even get close to that. But that, I mean, when we first started, or when I even first started, you know, and my vision was that we were going to have a lot of parent involvement, and
Yes.
we do not. So we need to figure out how to make that happen, or, you know, try to work on building relationships so that they are more involved.
well, and I think, you know, some of those things were rolling along really well, and then COVID.
Yeah.
And the other day on the news, they said, you know, it's the 3rd anniversary, and a person has to think back, oh, yeah.
Mhm.
It's a long time where people weren't getting together, or were afraid to get together, and appropriately so.
Right.
I think a lot of people are fun shy, you know,
Yes,
they don't
I
want to
think-
come out, they don't want to admit their faults, it's tough, you know.
Mhm. Yes,
But you
totally.
gain a lot regardless of where you are in raising kids. I mean, I think they were powerful, so to get other parents willing to do it and make that commitment, you know,
Right.
school, events, sports, all that stuff is, you get home, you want to just put your jammies on, right?
Mhm.
I wonder if Welcome Baby should think about putting a little plug for the partnership in the folders. Because essentially that will reach every parent that births. in
Yes.
York County.
I think we have our rack card in there,
Okay.
and we might even have my community connections brochure in there.
But I mean, some information on, hey, we're
On
looking for
on these
people to
programming.
join us
Oh,
and to
I
help.
see what you're saying.
Not
Yeah.
just we have services for you. but
Yeah,
we need
okay.
you to help.
Come to the table.
Yeah.
And I think that
join
would
us.
go the same for when there is a parent cafe. Making sure that Chad touches on it,
Yep.
you know.
Good thinking.
Because they're parent, eventually to be parent led, maybe that's something he can bring back too, is how do other areas, how have other places, regions gotten the parents to take the reins on that and maybe try to implement some of that here.
That was Manitowoc, right, Candace? Yeah, so Manitowoc, when Candace and I went down to learn about things that Manitowoc was doing, they had parent-led cafes going on, so they would be a good resource for that.
Brown County did at one point too. I don't know where it's at now.
Okay.
Through the neighborhood family resource centers.
He has a good relationship with them. Okay. Is there anybody have any questions? Anything for me? Otherwise, our next meeting is June 16th. Same place. Zoom will be an option as well.
Have one in May.
No,
I thought the agenda said next meeting, maybe.
oh
May.
boy. Well,
June
my,
16th.
Oh, okay.
We
Yeah,
need
it's wrong. Sorry, wrong meeting.
oh, executive committee, yeah.
June 16th.
June 16th at 8:15. That'll be here, and then also Zoom option available. And we will have had our community conversation by then. So some information to share on that.
You have one question.
Yes.
The like trainings that Chad does and stuff, how is that, are those attended well by parents?
They were pre-COVID.
Okay.
They have not been since, but most of what he's been able to do has been on Zoom.
Okay.
That worked well for a small handful of parents because then they didn't have to leave the house, but then other parents rather would have done it in person. So we're also looking at when we offer. So we're looking at offering on Saturdays instead of a weeknight, for instance, possibly. But maybe now, I know, I was just gonna say, but hearing from Beth,
Yeah.
might look at that.
And the reason I was asking is I work with the IPAC officer, Chad Milkey.
Oh, yeah.
On like sexting and internet safety presentations for parents. And we do it, we've done a few like through the schools and we have like a handful of parents show up. So we've talked about like seeing if there's like because any parents in the community are welcome to come, even if they're not from the school district,
Mhm.
but we still only get like 5 people to show up.
Yeah.
So we talked about like a community like training presentation type of thing and seeing if maybe we can move that way. So I don't know if that's something to think about for the future as like a possible.
I know Chad had mentioned to me as an idea to try to collaborate like on things like that. So yeah, I definitely see that as a possibility. And it could be like part of a parent cafe, for instance, or you know what I mean? So yeah, so we're always open to collaborating, always. And then it's like parents have to, then they're only going to one thing instead of this thing on this day and this thing on this day.
That's been a big goal from day one, to try to really look in the community and plan.
Mhm. And then I almost forgot one other big announcement, and I don't have a lot of detail yet, but you will hear about it, is we are holding the second Trauma Informed Care Conference. We had our first one in 2019. And that is going to be August 15th at Stone Harbor. And we got Tamara Ullman. So please look her up if you don't know who she is as our keynote. She's phenomenal. She has a wealth of lived experience and knowledge in the recovery side of life, as well as families. And she spent time in prison herself, but she just is so good at telling her story, delivering messaging. She's funny, so she's got you laughing, she's got you emotional, and she's high energy. She's just awesome. Candace and I saw Candy, I don't know if you remember or not. Yeah, but it's like we saw her at Children Come First conference a few years back, probably about 4 years back, I don't know. At this point. But and Shauna has seen her more recently, but yeah, so we're extremely excited for that. And she really gave us some perspective because she's done so many conferences. And she gave us some really good perspective and ideas on our conference and kind of like how we could make the day flow better and things like that. So you'll be hearing about that next week at our meeting too, Beth. But and so we've got some other speakers lined up. Chad is going to do the 7 essential ingredients of trauma-informed care. And I am going to do like a mini version of build your bounce and how to fill your tool belt basically with resilience strategies as a provider. Well, it can be kind of for anybody really, but it's geared a lot more towards service providers and teaching staff based, with that secondary trauma stuff. So yeah, so more to come on that.
Great.
That's all I got. Otherwise, everybody good on the screen? Anybody got any questions or anything? All right, good. Then we will see everybody June 16th.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks for coming.